going on, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is actually my first video, and I'm excited to jump onto YouTube and give it a shot. A few weeks ago, my friend Ashton, who has a YouTube channel, he reached out to me and asked me to send him some photos I'd been taking, and so I sent it to him, and then he got back to me and he was like, dude, you really need to be doing more with these photos. And he was like, I think what you should do is do a monthly YouTube video where you talk about the photos and why you like them. Just go over some of your favorites. And so I decided, you know what, why not? Let's give it a shot. So my buddy Ashton, here's a link to his channel. Go check it out. Awesome stuff, awesome content, awesome guy. I think you'll really enjoy it. And so here we go. We're gonna dive into my favorite photos from January. And these are just photos that I enjoy. They're not always gonna be my favorite photos I've ever taken, but I'll explain why I like them. And I hope you like them as well. So let's dive in. Okay, so these are some of my favorite photos that I took this past month in January. And the first ones that I want to show you are of my friends Sheldon and Melissa. And they had their 5th year anniversary, and they asked me if I would take some anniversary pictures for them of them like dressed up like they were on their wedding. So she's wearing her wedding dress, he's wearing his suit, all that good stuff. And in these photos, we went to Rocky Mountain National Park, which is not super far from where we live. So it was really fun to take their pictures and just get to hang out with them in Rocky Mountain National Park on a beautiful early January day, which, by the way, Melissa was super brave because it was super cold and she's wearing her dress and I was freezing and I had like a coat and a hat and all this stuff and she's out there just going for it. So this is one of my favorite pictures from that shoot. And I really like this picture because the sun's popping through and they're laughing naturally, and I really enjoy that. I like when couples or people that I'm taking photos of, they are enjoying what they're doing. It's not like a forced smile, or sometimes poses can get weird, and so you always have to pose your couple, but then it's really fun when they're enjoying it and having a good time. So I love this one. I love the mountains in the background, the trees kind of blown out, but you know you're still there. This one I love just because you can actually see the landscape. I love landscape photography. And same thing, they're walking back and I was just taking photos of them. And we're just having a blast. We're having a good time, even though it was freaking cold outside. And then the sun started to go down and we found this like kind of fence, if you can even call it a fence. I mean, look at this. That's not a fence. But we found this like fence thing with a beautiful background. And so we just decided to post up and take some photos right here. And again, I love just the natural feel of photos, not always posed, but capturing the moment. And so that's why I like that one. Also, I always try to snag a few landscapes on these shoots, especially if we're in a beautiful place. And so I love this photo. I think it does something for me. I really like it a lot. This one I took earlier in the day, and funny story, I accidentally had my ISO cranked from a shoot I'd done earlier, and I hadn't thought about it. And so I was struggling with the settings so much. They were getting ready, and so I was just kind of popping off a few shots. And so this picture, let's actually see. It was taken at 1/8,000th of a second, which is ridiculous because it wasn't that bright outside. And so I was so confused, and at 2500 ISO. And so I'm just fighting the whole time my own settings on this, and I'm apparently fighting my computer right now too. I like this because it was kind of windy, and so you can see the snow is just blowing around on the top of these mountains. But you also have the sun coming in from the side, and I love that. I think that's awesome. Those are some of my favorite pictures from that shoot, early January. And then this next one is a random one. I took it of myself in a mirror, which I'm not that kind of person. I don't really do that. But I was bored at my house. My wife was gone. And so I just pulled out my camera and was taking pictures of random things. And I took this picture. And there's just something about it that I really like. I think there's a lot of textures in it. I like the mirror here. It's a round mirror, but then you have just the wall that's flat. You have this light behind me. You have the door frame here that creates another shape in there. And then this blue light on my lens, I don't even know where that came from, but it's real. I didn't do that in post. And so there's just a lot of depth to this picture that I was not expecting. I was just messing around, and then I caught that little flare in the lens, and everything else kind of shaped up. Then the last bunch of pictures that I really enjoy are from a ski trip that my family and I got to go on to Breckenridge, Colorado. And man, it was beautiful. It was awesome. Anytime you can be in the mountains, I love being outside. I think it's awesome. And so here's some photos that I really like from that trip. I hopped on the lift behind my aunt and uncle, and I took my camera with me, which I've never done skiing before. I put it like in my coat and zipped it up, and I was terrified the first day doing that. But I got some great pictures, and so I started to do it the rest of the time also, just because it was worth it. It's beautiful. People don't take cameras on the slopes very often, and so I was like, you know what, it's worth it, let's go for it. So this was the first day that I took them up, and I just love this. I love the leading lines of the actual like wire, the cables that are taking the lifts up. I think it's awesome. I love that the trees are kind of on the outsides of the shot, and then obviously, you know, the lift is cool, and the mountains in the background. Same deal, the sun was glowing on the trees a little bit more here, and on my aunt and uncle a little bit more. Also slightly different frame. So I like this one as well. You get some more of the snow on the trees. It's just good, same thing. This was actually taken much later in the day. The sun is just about to set behind the mountains. And I just saw this opening, trees on both sides, single skier coming down. I think he has like a crazy helmet. You can't really tell. But I think he has a crazy helmet. Yeah. Anyways, I just liked this. I like the sun coming in from the side. Looked cool. I'm on the lift again, and so we're going up a little bit further. Just like the sun coming through the trees, with the snow on the ground, all that, great. So the sun is almost gone. You can see over on the right hand of this picture, we've got a little bit of glow, but it's almost gone. I just like that, the blue hour photos. I think a lot of times we stop shooting once the sun goes away, and I think the blue hour is such a cool time to capture a different mood. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit. So while we were on this trip, it was in Breckenridge, and they had a snow sculpting competition from people around the world who did this thing. And so they had all these different ice and snow sculptures that people had made. They did not use power tools. It was really impressive. And they lit them super cool. Like they looked awesome. And so we went one night, even though it was freaking cold, and we just explored, checked them out, and honestly, we were probably out there for 10 minutes because it was so cold. It was like in the teens, and so we pieced out pretty fast. But I took this picture when we were waiting in the lobby for the transportation to come pick us up, the bus, and it was dark, super moody lobby, really cool hotel. And so I snapped this picture, and I just like it. I like the color of the wood up top and how the chandelier is making it glow. I think there's a lot of mood to it. I like moody photos. Okay, so we go to this ice sculpting thing. It was awesome. This is my favorite picture, maybe that I took on this trip, and my favorite picture that I took at the ice sculpting thing. And I just think it looks so cool. It's one of the sculptures, and so I shot up on it. And the background is completely black, but the sculpture itself just pops, especially with the lights that they had on it. And so I really, really like that photo a lot. Same thing here. I don't like this one quite as much, but I think it's cool because you can kind of see through the sculpture a little bit more. I like the completely black on the back side of it. I messed around with some crops of this, but this was the best one, I think. And then one last one, there was a light on the other side of this, and so I tried to kind of burst it a little bit, but I was shooting wide open, so I couldn't get that burst very well. But I just like it. I think it's cool. I love the contour of it, the colors, how the lights drift off on the back, but then inside are just this pink color. It's really cool. So these photos are from the last day of skiing, and I got a little bit more brave with it. The first day I was just kind of taking pictures on the lift, or I would come down to a certain spot and I would wait for my family and I'd take pictures of them coming down. But this day I kind of just had it out and I was skiing a lot more carefully. So this is a picture of my uncle, and he's coming in doing a hockey stop. I really actually was hoping he would kind of just like push a ton of snow at me. But he didn't stop that forcefully. However, he was looking at my camera and not looking where he was going, and he almost just ran over my aunt right after this photo was taken. So fortunately, no one was hurt. That's great. But I like this photo. I like the contrast of the red on his boots and the straps of his poles with everything else, the green of the trees and the mountain in the fog way up top. I love that. I think it's so cool. I just like that photo a lot. This is not my favorite photo I've ever taken, but I loved my niece right here. She's just ready to go. She's in the middle, just ready to like bomb the mountain. And I love the view. It's just awesome. It's cool. Just a good family memory. This is my niece bombing a mountain. And I like this one specifically because I feel like there's some motion to it, just a little bit, but also you can see there's like a drop off basically. So it just makes it look really cool. And this one, I just like this one because she's messing with me, waving at me while she's skiing, showing that she can ski like a pro. I'm pretty sure in like 2 years, she's gonna be able to just out ski me and it's gonna be ridiculous. This is my favorite photo that I took in January. And I took several, but I think this one's my favorite. It's really wide, but I love the mountain over here on the right side of the screen. It just looks good. And then this building was just awesome. The glass, it was all glass in front, which was so cool. And it kind of had like this bluish color to it, but it was like a rustic, modern building. And so I really liked it. I took this on the lift. This is a photo, it's not cropped at all. At first, it was a mistake. I was trying not to get any lifts in there because I just wanted the mountainscape in the building. And the lift popped in on the right. I took the photo just a hair early, and I like it. I like that it gives the foreground some depth and kind of gives you a little bit more perspective of where you are. You can still see the mountain peeking over the building here. You can see the name of it, Pioneer Crossing. That ended up being one of my favorites. Well, that's all of my January photos that I loved. I hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed the photos. If you like them, want to check them out more, I use SmugMug for all my albums to send to clients, all that stuff. I'm not sponsored by them, but I like them. And so I'll put the link to that album down below. And if you want to download them, leave a comment and I will send you the password to do so. And I hope you have a fantastic February. Today's the Super Bowl, so go whichever team you choose. I'm struggling right now because I like Pat Mahomes, but I'm a Broncos fan, so I hate the Chiefs. Anyways, this is not about football. So leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the end of February.